And now, we'll be taking a little jaunt into the dark side of chivalry. It's time for Shovel Knight, Specter of Torment, with MooMooAkai.
All right, good to go? I think so. I'm here petting dog. Bless pet dog. So, I'm Moo. Joining me on the couch today is Muncha.
Hello, I'm Munchakoopas.
And Davidtki.
Hi, I'm David.
And they're going to be helping me out because, man, this game flies fast. So I am already in a file right now because I wanted to explain a couple things before going in. This is New Game Plus. So I have access to like all kinds of weapons. You're going to basically be seeing me doing a lot of this all the time. Specter has a ton of weapons. They're all super useful. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because you can kind of see what they're all doing. But earlier today, there was a mod's Mega Man 11 run. So it's that kind of run where like I'm going to be dishing out as much damage as I can and juggling as many weapons as I can. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and set the file up. For New Game Plus, you have to make the file a New Game Plus file. And you can see that I have all of my health upgrades, my darkness, all the armors, all the weapons, and all of them upgraded except for the Chronos coin, and I'll explain why that's not upgraded either. But time starts when I select yes. So I'm going to count it down. On go. 3, 2, 1, go! All right, so when I start this run out, I'm actually already using Rail Mail, which allows me to skate around. It is by far the best upgrade for Specter Knight to have in terms of increasing his speed. It's super useful, changes up his movement quite a lot, and getting used to it's one of the hardest parts of the runs in general. Beyond that, I'm going to be using a lot of Judgment Rush for movement, which is this weapon. It lets me target enemies, and I can go through walls when I use it, so it is extremely handy. You can see that my ammo is a little weird looking, and that's because my health and my ammo are actually one unit right now, so every weapon that I'm doing is actually slowly killing me. That makes this one of the more punishing runs in the game. But I'm still going to be using everything in a calculated way. I'm still going to be doing damage boosts, and I'll just barely have the darkness sometimes that I need to be able to do these tricks. Thankfully, despite the fact that all food has been replaced with bombs, the checkpoints will still give you a full health refill. They give you full health and ammo in that case. There's only 2 per stage, though. That is the New Game Plus difficulty. So I only have 2 checkpoints. They restore my health and ammo, and using weapons is slowly draining my life. You can see Judgment Rush making quick work of some of these rooms. I'm going to be coming up against the first boss already, Black Knight. Black Knight is a particularly challenging boss because unlike all the other bosses, Black Knight actually is kind of like a player character, has iframes when you hit him. So for a couple seconds after you hit him, can't take any damage, but if you keep Black Knight on his turtle terrapin, that actually doesn't factor in. Yeah, there we go. Preferably would have had Terrapin on the right side of the screen because this stage ends when both of us leave. So, small optimization, but it's hard enough to control that fight. So now we're back in the Tower Hub. This is where we were before. You come here after you beat every level, and this is where you would be purchasing those weapons and armor upgrades, health upgrades, etc. But we already have them, so we don't need them. We're going to go straight to the levels, and we can do them in any order that we want. So we just go left to right, but conveniently that means that we get to do the hardest levels first, starting with Explodatorium. In this stage, I'll be using the Chronos coin almost immediately, and this thing is unupgraded. In its unupgraded form, what it does is it slows down the flow of time, and when it's upgraded, all it does is do that for longer. So it's not a stronger effect, but it's still useful. David, why am I using the Chronos coin this level?
So in Explodatorium, there's a couple of things later on in the stage that are on global cycles from the moment that you enter the stage. The first is going to be the pot lids that's coming up pretty soon, and the Chronos coin is going to slow down this room enough for you to just barely make the elevated cycle there, but it's also going to slow things down just enough for you to make the pot cycle in the next couple of rooms coming right up.
Hold your breath.
If your movement was just right coming in, you should make it. Oh, that's good. Just barely made that cycle. And sorry if you can hear my kids in the background. They're very noisy.
They're blessed.
Yeah, I guess this one's blessed. Anyways,
Coming up on the mini boss now. Mini bosses have more health than the regular bosses, but one of the nice things about this guy is he actually kind of stands still, which is super good. 1, 2, 3, yeah! All right, let's see if I made the... Come on.
Whoa,
Yes, okay.
Oh, man.
Holy moly.
So this is the fastest cycle, but I have to keep going if I want to keep saving time. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes!
Only like a half cycle behind. That's good.
Now I get to worry about Plague Knight. So the bosses in New Game Plus are kind of nice because normally bosses have a lot of like more escalating randomness in their patterns. The longer they live, the more trouble they get to be. So the amount of control that I get to exert in the fight because of New Game Plus means that most of them die before they're a problem.
Yeah. Plague Knight is a pretty simple fight. He's going to jump right immediately. With the Chronos coin, we're going to slow down time just enough to be able to throw out all the weapons and then finish him off before he teleports. Yeah, like that. But we don't want Chronos coin upgraded because then it would keep things slow for like 6 seconds longer and that would cost us time. So that's why it's not upgraded.
Which means we can still do some of the tricks that require Chronos coin, but they're much harder because it's not upgraded. Okay, I wish I could say we were out of the water, but we're now going to where runs go to die. This is Lost City, and yeah, it definitely earns its name. So this stage, one of the major features of this stage is this bouncy, gooey blocks. I will be doing my best to avoid the kickback from those when possible, using things like this, the Shadow Mirror. When it hits the block, I don't get pushed back. And then also I can use certain weapons that hold me in place, like the Spider Sight. I can use that to prevent myself from bouncing too far away from those guys. And now you're starting to see the primary feature of this stage, which is lava. Okay, I have to jump. Good, okay. And I'm going to be doing Beetle Skip, which is terrifying, so I have to focus.
Yeah, Beetle 1 is very slow moving, but while Veil Mail gives you enough speed to skip past most of it, and that jump was really difficult. That's a very tight jump. This level is really hard. Lots of insane tricks. Tight timing. If you miss it, you're probably going to fall into the lava, lose your life, go back to the beginning. It's very tough and unforgiving.
This is fine. Okay. That's what we're doing. Okay. This is also fine. All right, we're coming up on the second half, which has a really difficult trick called Lost Spaghetti. So shout outs to the casual Shovel Knight players. The casual community gets along quite well with the speedrunners, and one day Max Noodle Knight found a trick called Lost Spaghetti, which we named after him. Basically, the way the lava turns into goo when you throw a slime block into it, we can do that, and then it's not lethal at that point. So we can just barely clip into the gooey blocks that have become, the lava that has become gooey blocks. So you can imagine that the window for that is very small. If I screw it up, I'll die, and I'll probably scream.
The timing is pretty tight. It doesn't feel frame perfect, but it is a very tight window. It's hard to get.
Yes!
Nice! Didn't even have to use the Judgment Rush for the buffer.
All right. If you're a Mole Knight friend, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, the way this fight's gonna go, Mole Knight's gonna dive across the screen 2 times before coming out and sliding on the ground. He's dead as soon as he hits the ground.
The moles will not go hungry tonight.
It's like the fights go so fast that you can't explain what's going on. You just have to muscle memory everything.
That's exactly why I fell in love with the Mega Man 11 run. It's the same deal. We're just like, the boss is dead before you can explain it. All right, so this is the first flashback you get after a couple stages. You can see this is traditional Specter Knight gameplay, where I'll be, I don't have armor, so I can't use rail mail. I don't have my weapons, so I don't get to fly around or anything. So this is a pretty typical way you would expect to see the game played, and that means we can throw in a donation for now.
I'd be happy to. We have $25 from Morph, who says, "To heck with cancer. Thank you for everyone involved in putting on this fantastic event and raising so much money to stop cancer. Don't stop till cancer's beat."
I saw you lay a couple of caltrops at the end of the dream there.
I like to throw caltrops just because like it keeps my fingers busy. Okay, so thankfully, kind of get to take a deep breath now. I feel much better. I'm so glad I nailed those first 2 stages. We're going to the underwater level of the game now. This is the Iron Whale, and the underwater mechanics being that I fall a bit slower and I jumped a bit higher.
Would you say this level's a bit of a breather level?
Despite the fact that it's underwater, yes, it is. But don't worry, I'm undead. I don't need to breathe. Ha! Oh, shoutouts to community members. Like, they find tricks sometimes to just make this free though. The steel heart, yes!
Wow,
So
you
glad I
hadn't
got
nailed that one in practice in a while.
Nope. But yeah, the runners like Patois and Taiwan Ninja found a bunch of really awesome strats, like this one that just cleans house on this room. Thank you. Beyond that, this stage is kind of very much like the 80% counterpart, but we do get to use some of the new Game Plus stuff, so like I get to use the Blood Mirror again. Yeah! And now would be a good chance for me to explain the Barrier Lantern, because the mini-boss in Explodatorium disintegrated, and I didn't really get a chance to talk about it. So the Barrier Lantern is one of the most powerful weapons in this game, but it requires you to stand still so much that you can't use it. Basically, it's like Leaf Shield. Once I have it spinning up around me, it protects me from projectiles and enemies. And if it hits anything, it'll level up. If it gets, this is level 2, and that's level 3. When I fire this, it deals a heart and a half of damage. But yeah, most bosses do not actually cooperate enough to do this. So when I do get the opportunity to, shout out to Breadpan for finding how good this thing was.
Yeah, Tiflon is actually pretty infamous for how much he does move around, so sometimes he cooperates like that. Very nice when he does.
And the other weapons are so good that we often use them anyway for like boss kills. It's completely not a problem. Like the sickles that I have equipped right now, they go through walls, so I can just do that to hit the switch. The feather, which is often considered a very slow item, still has some uses.
Shoutouts to Bertha. She wants to give you a big old smooch.
Not today. She hurts. Love hurts. Okay.
Yeah, thankfully the feather makes that a lot easier in New Game Plus. That room's very scary in 90%.
All right, so here comes Treasure Knight. I quite love all of the quick kills on New Game Plus. They're all so much fun for their own reasons, so it's hard to pick out what my favorite one is. But definitely the reason why I love the Treasure Knight fight is because he's such a cooperative fellow.
Yeah, so the way Treasure Knight works, he's going to throw out his anchor at first, we're going to jump over it, then Treasure's going to pull himself forward. We throw everything we have at him, and when he jumps back, he's down. Such a good fight. That's so good.
Munch, I have a question. Is there a rat problem in this tower?
Maybe?
Okay, well, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to drop some mouse traps.
Perfect.
Oh, dang. He didn't fall enough.
Almost.
What a shame.
Yeah, with cow chops in the right position, they can do 1 damage to Dark Reese before the fight starts.
Okay, so we got Spooker here, or Dark Reese. I gotta try and take him out. Please cooperate. 4. Yeah, that's it. Stand right there, boy.
What? What?
Yeah, Reese is a little bit random with his fights. He can just kind of stand there and take it, and that's what we want. Sometimes he teleports, sometimes he goes into the air.
Surprised he doesn't recognize me considering the color scheme. Okay,
Right,
so
you've got Donovan's colors.
yeah. All right, so this is the flying machine, and the reason why I love this stage on New Game Plus is because for every other category, you don't have anything. Any percent and 100% start on this level, so they don't have armor or weapons. Low percent never gets armor or weapons, so I actually finally get to beast through this level on New Game Plus. And it's important that I make sure I keep an eye on my darkness because I'll be needing some for a trick in the auto-scroller. But in the meantime, we are approaching another one of those mini-bosses.
We are?
Right? Yeah, there's a mini-boss, right?
Yeah, the thingy dropper.
Yeah.
The what?
The thingy
It's that
dropper.
thing, you know, it comes up on a
Is
ship.
that a real thing?
Yes,
Yeah, sure.
That's
It's in
its
this room.
actual name.
Yep, it's right here in this room.
It is?
Yeah,
You sure it wasn't patched out?
Oh, absolutely. So, using the Chronos coin, you can leave that room before the dinghy dropper actually locks you in, which was an incredible and hilarious little find. And all right, we're in the auto-scroller now, and the only thing I really have to worry about is like, yeah, I can't take damage because I need my darkness. My darkness is my weapon energy and my health. Read another donation. Go for it.
Gladly. We've got $500 from Sin, who says, "For my father struggling with liver cancer, Dr. Smiles, and the entire Serious Overchill community. Go fast."
Go fast.
Would you like another?
No, I'm good right now. I definitely will be calling out some more later. Right now, I need to focus on getting up to the checkpoint. They left the checkpoint, the top of the auto-scroller. Very convenient. Float up, hit it, and then head for the exit.
Oh no, you died!
David, please.
Well, it's a good thing you got that checkpoint.
Yes, this is the only character that actually gets to take advantage of a death views. Ironically, very fitting. And that's just because that checkpoint's right there. You can do it in low percent and New Game Plus, but because any percent and 100% kind of need that money, you can't do that in those categories. Oh, thank God I get to use the coin here. I do not like this room.
Triple Jawa room is normally very scary. Okay, they're actually called Haberminis and they live up to their name.
Yes. So up next is the Propeller Knight fight. One of the cool things that they did for Specter Knight's campaign is they changed up all the fights. They wanted to make them more interesting and spicy. And for this fight, if the phase goes on long enough, he'll break the floor and like he'll start flying around a bunch of different ships, and I don't want to let that happen.
So the game plan is to kill him before the floor breaks. He reflects most projectiles, so we're going to be using a whole lot of Dread Talon and Barrier Lantern, and well, the floor never broke.
Yeah,
Very good
surprising.
fight.
Yeah, thank you. So far, I'm like 5 for 5. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, I'm coming up on Lich Yard. I think this would be a good time for me to talk about the way I'm playing this game right now. So I'm playing on a PC, and I'm playing on a DualShock 4. People often come into the community and ask, like, how are you playing this game? How are you doing this stuff? And what's the best version of the game to run? And they're all basically identical. God bless. Thank you, Yacht Club Games, for working so hard to make this game not only run incredibly, but run the same on every single version of it. Like, I don't know how they did that. They're incredible. And so there's no technical advantage to playing a certain version of it. They're all the same patch, they all have the same tricks, everything, even the same glitches. However, the one difference is that when you're playing on PC and on Wii U, so get out your Wii U's, you have access to quick swaps for your relics. I can press any number on the keyboard from 1 through 9 and 0, minus and equals, to let me switch to a weapon immediately. And that's what you've been seeing me do throughout the entire run. But because I'm playing on a controller, I obviously don't want to reach over for the keyboard to do that. And so I'm using Joy-to-Key, was a little nervous, using Joy-to-Key, which allows me to bind some of the keyboard buttons to my controller. We allow this in the Shovel Knight community because we want this run to be as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. It's already really, really difficult. So if you want to join and do runs of this game, you're not only welcome to do them on any console for any reason, like some people don't even want to record, just join us, do the runs. This game is awesome. But for people who want to do the harder categories that require a lot of weapon juggling, yeah, use Joy-to-Key. It's super accessible like this. Apart from how terrifyingly difficult it is.
By the way, you've just been navigating rooms without
Okay,
seeing what you're doing.
Can't see, almost died. Okay, so here's Phantom Striker. This is where weapon swapping is really going to come in handy because Phantom Striker, if I don't kill him quickly enough, will spend like 10 million years being invincible.
Yeah, he's got two attacks he might use, a teleport spam or a lightning strike that makes him invincible. Chronos Coin, again, is going to slow everything down enough for us to just kill him before he can do any of that.
Woo! A lot of people will probably remember this fight, be like, yeah, that was that fight that killed me for like a week straight. Oh man, all the shout-outs to all the dads. I need help from dads.
Yes, we need your help, chat. Need you to say "Go Luan, go!"
Go
in your
Luan,
best
go!
voice, because we need Luan to have his running shoes on. He
Yeah,
can run through
Luan
this
needs
next
that
room.
energy. Raise your hands, please. Go Luan, go!
We want him to not stop
Go, Luan,
and to
go.
not double back. Go Luan, go! Go Luan, go!
He's going for the
He
marathon!
went.
Yeah!
He went!
Thank you, Luan.
I'm sorry, was that too loud?
There's a small chance that he just stops, and we're just like, he's just tired. But he wanted the marathon to go fast. Thank you.
Thank you, Luan.
Okay, I have to worry about the Shield Knight fight coming up, where this is one of a couple of fights where the fight has a consistent quick kill, but their movement is not. Yes! Ah! That's a hard
Hi.
trick. Thank you, Taiwan Ninja, for that one.
Stop giving me heart attacks.
Okay, so Shield Knight, I have to react to her movement to get the quick kill.
Yeah, so we're gonna be jumping and
Oh, no!
laying down. Whoa!
This is annoying.
That
It's
was
okay, I got
early.
this. Yeah, this is be fine. Whoa!
Shield said
All right,
no.
we're improving this now. so we throw out Caltrops to make Shield Knight run over him. She has
this
a
is
generally predictable movement pattern, but she jumps at certain intervals. I think we'll get another dash. Not quite there.
Wait for it. Got her.
Very hard
Ooh,
fight.
that was scary.
He laid down the Caltrops too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
not surprised she would have done that to me on this fight, or for GDQ.
Yeah, Shield Knight's generally consistent, but if she jumps in a way that doesn't behave, then it goes off the rails quickly. But that early bash, that really threw things off.
Yeah, that was because she landed on the Caltrops instead of landing to the left of them. She needed to start moving before she hit them, so it's okay. I figured it out. Right, so here's Clockwork Tower. This stage is the longest stage because it has 2 auto-scrollers in it, but also at the very beginning, I have to make sure that I'm managing my darkness again. I have just enough to do all the tricks, and if I screw up or take damage, I'm going to be terrified.
And low on darkness.
Which is also my health. On top of, constantly being like threading the needle and getting crushed or falling to my death.
Right, so let's get through this room. There's a specific way through this. If you're fast enough, you can just make it under the block, bounce up the walls. Good, and I think you have enough darkness for 2 rushes.
Ooh, have to be a little bit safe here. Okay, cool. Just barely have what I need.
Good, perfect.
All right, so you can see that I have no HP. I'll get a small refill right here just so I can use the feather. We're doing an auto-scroller where I will die to anything that touches me. Go ahead and read another donation.
My pleasure. You guys are making this look too easy, but there's some people who know just how talented you are at this, like CNA, who sends in $50 and says, "Awesome job nailing Lost Spaghetti, Moo. Great to see this run in AGDQ. Stay spooky."
Stay spooky. Got time for another donation. Go for it.
Absolutely. Lori D. Bunnykins sends in $10 and says, "Good luck on the run, Moo. I'm so excited to see you move so fast you become basically invisible." I think we saw that earlier. Speaking of which, let me know if you need help becoming invisible. I might be an expert on that. Put this towards playing as Mugman for Kiwi's sake.
Word. Oh, oh my God. Okay, so Lori kind of tricked me, but didn't mean to, into playing an invisible color of Specter Knight for a marathon one time. That was fun. That definitely made the category take a little bit longer. I have since learned to make sure I read which color code I'm using when I do that. Okay, so we made it to the halfway point. Thank God.
The second half of this stage isn't too bad. You're just going to Judgment Rush through a few rooms, use the feather for a couple others, and then we'll end up in another auto-scroller.
This is a good opportunity for me to talk about a couple of the boss behaviors. Aw, guinea pigs. Whoa! Okay, make sure I don't die. So, if you played this game as Shovel Knight or Plague Knight, you might remember that Tinker Knight was a little bit of a joke. In the first phase, Shovel Knight got to use the mobile gear to one-shot Tinker Knight as a kind of homage to the Mega Man weaknesses. So the mobile gear, Tinker Knight's own weapon, just one-shot him. Plague Knight dealt double damage, so sort of did the same thing. Not only does Specter Knight not get to, like, deal extra damage or shenanigans the first fight, they made the first fight harder. And then bosses have this thing called, I call them desperation moves or desperate measures. Basically, at certain HP thresholds, they'll all try and behave in ways that make them more difficult to deal with. And that's great. Tinker Knights is moving to the other side of the screen, which is not great. And I will try and deal with that throughout both phases.
So here we are then. The fight's going to start out with us jumping over the wrench and throwing out a bunch of weapons, but Tinker's going to immediately raise himself and be unreachable by most of them. Luckily, he stops just long enough for the barrier lantern to finish him off. But that's not enough because we've got phase 2 coming up, so we're going to feather up to the tank, throw out the skeletal sentry, and then start throwing out all our weapons. At certain health thresholds, Tinker will move to the other side of the screen, which we can predict. Just hit him, and ooh, you're good there. You're good.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Nice save.
Took a hit, but had enough darkness to Judgment Rush for safety.
Getting hit toward the end of that fight sent my heart to the astral plane, so give me a second. Oh man.
I'm sorry for not saying much. I'm just mesmerized by watching what you're doing because like all these weapon swaps and stuff, they're not easy to do. It's like it's very easy to mess up which weapon you're swapping to, or activating things like too early or too late. So like, just showing how much he has practiced this category.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when you consider that Moo actually only has 4 weapons bound to his controller. He's having to switch to certain ones and then use Eleanor to switch to the one he really wants.
Yeah, weapon swapping is quite the chore for this category. So I got Baz to stand in a kill. I really want to know one day what happens if you manage to deal enough damage to like kill a boss that isn't in a boss fight. Anyway, this is Pridemore. Kind of a rat boost, yo!
Whoa! This stage is blessed!
Oh my god, it's so rare for the rat to move in a position that actually saves you time. Yo, shoutouts to Paul Blart, top mall cop security here in Pridemore. Thank you,
He's
Paul.
trying. He's trying.
Oh, this room gives me anxiety.
Yeah, Pridemore is going to be another breeder stage. I mean, there's plenty going on here, but most of it is the same as what happens in any percent. Judgment rushing through rooms, damage boosting off the pot to get up the wall.
I'll die if I miss this. Hooray.
Yeah, but you're so well practiced at that I knew you'd get it. Yeah. We should have just enough. Oh, that's not good. There's darkness in this.
Yes!
Wow.
I'm such a cheater. Oh
So
my
lucky.
goodness.
Did you
Calculated.
get darkness off the guy you killed?
Yeah, I had to stay like perfectly still so the darkness wisp would catch up to me in time. Yo, that room! Okay, that's a hard trick.
Yeah, railing through some of these rooms is actually faster than you might think. Like, Judgment Rush has a small delay on startup, so it's often actually slower than railing through everything. Oh, right, but
Yeah,
pot room,
it's,
no
if you can
problem.
do it, if you can do it without Judgment Rush, it's typically better. Okay, so we're coming up on King Knight here. This fight.
Yeah, so King Knight's going to start off jumping left. You're going to move left out of the way of him, throw out all your weapons, blow up the sentry on purpose so you can throw out another, have it shoot out its second wave, it's gone.
Yeah, that is a huge exercise on my ability to swap weapons really quickly, because if you're playing on keyboard, which if you can, shout outs to you, but like I only have, like David Munch has said before, I only have access to 4 weapons with the quick swaps, so I'm constantly just mashing on these bumpers to get to the other ones.
Yeah, and in particular with Sentry, you actually switch to Judgment Rush and then go 2 over.
Sorry, I was excited because I was the king of mashing and I got struggleless.
Nice. But yeah, Sentry's like the only thing that's like 2 clicks away, isn't it?
Sentry is one right from Judgment Rush. Lantern and Claw are actually Lantern and Mirror are some of the harder ones I have to reach.
Okay.
And Scythe is a little awkward too. Anyway, we're in Stranded Ship now. You can see that this is where these rails first show up. So blue ones force me to the right, the red ones force me to the left. You've seen me skating this entire time, but this is the level where there's like an established mechanic. So I'm constantly going to be trying to skip as many of the rails as I can. Here's another mini-boss. I promise I'm not skipping this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be precise. You're actually going to bounce the bounding souls off the walls to try and hit the thing. You're trying to finish it on the right here so you can be as close to these platforms as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Hit stop switches. Okay, we're good.
At which point you start seeing these switches in the second half of the level. They can be activated with your items, so we're going to be using Bounding Soul in specific spots.
I'm going to be using the Skeletal Sentry here. Shoutouts to the person who's letting me use their computer and internet right now. McMeanus used to run this game, and this was the trick that they found, which is the gnarly toss. Let's go!
Right, the Sentry and blow it up. That activates the switch. So good.
For any percent, it's the gnarly dunk, because we use the Bounding Soul now.
Yeah, yeah, so it's nice to show off the trick.
I'm fine. Okay, we're
Yeah,
good.
everything's fine.
If I manage to go through a straight room without any problems, that's actually not as easy as it looks. Like, the controls for this character are sometimes very tricky. Like that. Please, go down! Okay, we're fine.
Alright, we've just got one long rail left before Polar Knight himself, so what happens in that fight?
Oh boy, okay, so again, I'm gonna be like covering the screen with a bunch of stuff. If I can kill Polar Knight before Polar Knight leaves the screen, I'm going to be extremely excited because this is a really hard fight to get the perfect quick kill on. Oops.
Yeah, so again, we're going to be throwing out stuff. We got to jump over some snowballs and throw out everything. But positioning is very important in this fight. For he didn't even jump. Like, you talked about not leaving the screen. He didn't leave the ground. That was an amazing fight.
I'm so happy I got that kill. Okay, beginning of the end here. So that was the 8 Robot Masters, which means we now have Wily Tower stage. And this is actually one of the longest and most difficult tricks in the run. Basically from the first half all the way till the checkpoint. This is Crusher Skip, and that's because my health and weapon ammo have been draining over time this entire time, and I'm going to be killing every enemy possible to have as much darkness as I need for this trick. I missed one. So even missing one little enemy, and that was extremely small and hard to miss, but like, I don't have enough darkness now. So I need to find backup darkness, because look, I'm going over here, turning left, respawning those 2 enemies to get additional darkness pickups.
Is that enough?
No, I'm gonna have to skip out on this Judgment Rush, which is fine, and I should have enough. Okay, and now I have to do the really hard trick, where I'm going to be trying to not get crushed and fall to my death.
So this is going to be a downside to not upgrading the point, because we got to use it here to slow down the crushes, and then use it again here to extend time long enough to get through here. We're going to be using our weapons to trigger these switches and just make it! Go! Oh, that's exciting. That's so hard to make. Hardly anybody goes for that. I don't even go for it.
Come on, come on.
Yeah, the rest of this stage should be relatively smooth sailing. I mean, we're gonna have a reappearance of. She's out for blood.
She gave me a double smooch. I didn't like it.
You bounced off both times. You're fine. You're fine. Absolutely fine.
Okay, so at the end of the auto scroller that I'm in right now, I just have to have enough darkness to use the feather again. Beyond that, go ahead and shoot some donations.
My pleasure. We've got $25 from Angry Bread, who says, "This is for the enthusiasm coming from the Shovel Knight runner. I'm cheering right alongside them." We've also got 25 from Brabachek, who says, "You are awesome, MooMooAkai. This run is awesome. AGDQ is awesome. You're all awesome. Really enjoying Shovel Knight run." Yes!
That's what I like to hear.
That was a very early ladder.
Oof, that was a little scary. So we're coming up against Black Knight one more time. And unfortunately this time Black Knight is actually going to be flying, which is really, really awful. We don't get to bully him on the ground like we did before. But then Patma was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Just like stand over here and shoot this Bounding Soul." And then Zerclips was like, "Hey, what if you also did that but also used the mirrors?" So we go over here. Ha ha ha. And I just get to do this, and God, I love this.
Yeah, Black Knight just has to sit in the corner and think about what he's done with his life. Normally the fight's a 1, 2, 3 tango, 1, 2, 3 wait, 1, 2, 3 wait, but Bloodmere, he just beat him into submission.
Thank you so much for finding that, Zerclips, because that fight was really awful.
That fight brought me some much-needed catharsis. Thank you, Moo.
You're very welcome. Okay, so we're almost at the end here. Got one more level to go. We're gonna go up this elevator, but ever since RPG Limit Break, I have not felt comfortable riding elevators. So I'm gonna take the stairs.
I mean, I'm right there with you.
You were right there with me.
I was right there with you. Let's go now. Our planet needs us.
Someone left the door unlocked. Thank you.
Yeah, that skipped what we call Tower of Hera after Link to the Past. Tower of Hera's tile room. Just kind of skips that whole thing.
But Moo, now you don't have any health.
I'll be fine, don't worry. Okay, so we're coming up against, I'm gonna do this for safety. Take this checkpoint just in case. So, Enchantress, again, consistent fight but random movement.
Yeah, we're gonna slow time down again and then throw everything, carefully spacing it. She's gonna start diving really soon, and she went right the correct direction.
Thank you so much. All right, time's coming up. Last hit of the next boss. This is Nightmare Reese. Consistent quick kill, random rails. Please cooperate with me, Rails.
Yeah. The other bit here is that Riza's gonna rear back and attack at certain health thresholds, or if we take too long on some of these sections, but we should be skipping.
Yeah!
Oh, man.
Turbo, let's go!
He skipped right past 2 health thresholds. And there's gonna be another section at the end here. We should be seeing time come right up.
Yeah, time! I just reached for the split button.
Very good fight.
What was my time?
Riz was super cooperative. Yep.
What? Dude, that
That's
was
insanely
world
good.
record.
Wait, what?
33 is no, it wasn't now. Listen, that was world record, like, I had world record with 33-37 for like a year and a half. And then Patois and I pushed it down lower and lower, but like, that was the world record for a while. So, getting a 33-37 during the marathon, heck yeah, that's amazing.
I'm pretty sure that's faster than my PB.
No one else has a sub 34 but me and Patois. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, that was the run. That was Specter of Torment New Game Plus. I love this game. Stay spooky, everyone. Big shout outs to Yacht Club Games for making this. Thank you so much. And shout outs to my commentators for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
If you are interested in joining the community for Shovel Knight, check out the Spade Brigade on Discord or speedrun.com. There's some resources there. Totally help you out. And I'm also a game dev, like I kind of mentioned earlier during the interview. So if you actually want to try out the game I've been working on, that's on my Twitter.
Yes, please check out MooMoo's game. I'm really looking forward to it coming out.
I want to make a game as fun as this one. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for having me, everyone.
Spooky. Sorry, I think I'm still under MooMooAkai's spell. That was just an absolutely legendary run. Thank you so much. You know, I have donations, but I also have this little scroll of parchment on my desk. It's got a flaming embossed H on it. I wonder what that's about. Let's take a look and see what it says. Oh, Twitch chat. You think you've done something noble, something clever, sending Zagreus into the depths of Tartarus to face me once more. But I'll remind you of this now. Nobody gets out of here, whether alive or dead. Thank you, Lord Hades. That was deeply unsettling. While I get my things together and regain my composure, I'd like to read some more donations. We have $25 from Vizzy, who says, "My mom recently passed from cancer, so this GDQ hits pretty close to home. Hopefully my donation can help out so this doesn't happen to others." And $15 from Ndati, who says, "That Hades Chaos print is gorgeous. What a lovely incentive to support an even more lovely cause. Thanks so much to everyone for making these events happen despite the pandemic." We have a short video from our sponsors, and then we'll see you on the other side for more action.
The Prevent Cancer Foundation is the candle that ignited the bonfire of prevention.
Andrew Dannenberg is an award-winning U.S. physician, researcher, and professor of medicine at Weill Cornell Medical College. His research is to understand why average-sized women who do not have a genetic predisposition develop breast cancer.
With the funds from the foundation, we have now shown that the inflammatory state that we originally discovered in the obese is found in a subset of normal-sized women.
Dr. Dannenberg believes that the key to defeating cancer lies in cancer prevention.
By understanding how heart disease occurred, interventions have been developed and to reduce the burden of cardiovascular disease. The cancer field is years behind, but that sets an example of how we can do the same in the field of cancer and cancer prevention. To win the fight against cancer, we need to be steadfast. We need to continue to invest. The Prevent Cancer Foundation and alternative sources of funding from the private sector are critical if we're going to advance the mission. Stop cancer before it starts.
Welcome back to AGDQ 2021 Online. My name is Ateatree, and it's such a pleasure to see you all. We've got $500 from Patches, who says, I donate every year, but I put some additional money aside for this marathon in particular. I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer this past year, and we were able to remove it due to detecting it in time. Detection is so important, and these marathons mean so much to so many people. Thank you to GDQ and the Prevent Cancer Foundation for everything that you do, and thanks to my wife for helping us through the toughest challenge I've ever had to face. Plus, thanks for the great Shovel Knight run. Thank you in just as much enthusiasm, Patches. And if you're just tuning in, you are just in time for an interview between Jhobz and Vorime about Hades. Get hype.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Jhobz, and I'm joined by Vorime. Vorime, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on. We just saw an incredible beginning to this this indie block with Braid and Shovel Knight. I love the indie block at every GDQ, but people are really stepping it up this year. And your run is going to be no exception. I'm sure you're going to be running Hades 3 weapons a little bit later. Let's start. I think a lot of people are very familiar with Hades, but let's start real quick. Give me just a quick explanation of what Hades is for anybody who's not familiar.
So Hades is a Greek mythology-based roguelike dungeon crawler. So a lot of things are randomized. The combat is super tight. It's really fast-paced action, and it's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I have to agree on that part. As somebody who isn't normally a big fan of roguelikes, I love this game. It's so good. Now, you are going to be doing 3 weapons. There are normally 6 total weapons in the game. So what are the 3 weapons you're going to be doing? And if you could explain a little bit about why you picked each one.
Yeah, so I'm going to be going into the run using the shield, the bow, and the rail. I'll be using the Beowulf aspect of the shield. It has some incredible potential for some really fast boss fights. You're definitely not going to want to miss that first weapon. So that's why I brought that one. Hera bow. It's just super consistent. It's always going to be fast. It's reliable. It's an old standby. And then Eris Rail to finish off. It's just the fastest weapon in the game. If you watched Hades speedruns before, you know it. You'll see it later today.
It's super cool. All 3 of those weapons, actually, all the weapons are great. Now, with Hades, like you said, it's got a lot of random aspects to it. Every single run is going to be a little bit different. How is that like when you're doing a run of it? You've got your kind of goals that you're looking for, but you got to adapt on the fly. Well, what goes through your head when you're doing a run like that?
Yeah, so we definitely have some certain builds in mind for each weapon, and we kind of gravitate towards some things. The game does provide a decent amount of control over your RNG. It's not perfect. You're not going to get exactly what you want every time, but you do have some level of control. It's not purely random. That said, it's definitely a game about fast decision making and adapting on the fly, and I'm looking forward to showing that off.
Yeah, I mean, even down to just which chamber you're going to pick next when you're presented with 3 options and being able to quickly identify on the door and know that is the best choice. How much practice went into being able to do that quickly for you? Did you pick that up pretty naturally, or was that something that took a lot of experience?
Oh no, it definitely takes a lot of time. You need experience with each of the builds you're aiming for, and with each weapon to kind of know, where are the points of weakness. What do you need in order to shore up the build for certain things? When can you pass on some HP to get a bit of an extra power boost, or when do you think you need a little bit of extra health or some safety if the run isn't quite going your way? So it's all kind of up in the air. So it just takes a lot of practice.
I do love that about speedruns. It's always nice when you can have consistency in your speedruns and stuff, but there's also a fun aspect to knowing that every single time you do it, it's going to be different. You're going to just have to work with it. I think that's super great. So what got you into speedrunning Hades? Because you've only done a couple of speedruns, it looks like, from kind of looking at your speedrun.com profile, but you told me you've been a big fan of them for a long time.
Yeah, I've been into speedrunning, since before I was even a teenager. I don't know, I was on the Speed Demos Archive website checking for updates all the time. I would just watch whatever run was posted. Didn't care what the game was. Always been super interested in speedrunning. Started actually doing some speedruns myself back in 2012. I did some Ocarina of Time Child Dungeons runs. Nothing too crazy. I got within like 2 seconds of the world record in that category, but it was kind of a meme. So
What made you want to finally pick up Hades and take that one to the next level?
I was playing Hades a lot casually, and I just started to look at some streams. And actually, one of the commentators who will be with me for today, Halion, was doing some speedruns, and I watched it, and I was like, I want to do that. That's it.
That's pretty much it. And I gather 2020 probably left you with some time to do that as well.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely the perfect time in my life for this game because I had nothing but time for a little while there.
Definitely heard that story more than once this week. I think
Yeah.
the one kind of good thing to come out of last year.
Absolutely.
Well, I know I'm like really looking forward to it. I think for me personally, the fists are my favorite weapon. For you, is your favorite weapon like, or if you even have a favorite weapon, is it the one that's just the fastest for you? Do you love the rail because that, or do you like a different weapon?
So for me, my favorite weapon tends to change from day to day. Honestly, I've played the game for so long that I can find something to like in just about every weapon and aspect. It usually is a sword aspect, just because I've done so many fresh file speedruns, which is a category where you just start the game and you go and you just try and win on a new file. Unfortunately, not marathon safe, so we couldn't show that one off to you guys.
Yeah, I think that one very heavily depends on like a duo boon and stuff, right?
Yes.
Obviously is very brutal, but it is a perfect segue because I did want to ask you about some of those other categories. Like Hades being such a diverse game has a lot of different cool categories, some of which are only just starting to get routed and run. What are some other categories that you find exciting and are either looking forward to running in the future or have run that were just really fun for you?
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about Hades is there's so many different ways to play the game. I can see the category list getting pretty crowded on speedrun.com in the not too distant future. For me, my personal favorites are probably fresh file and all weapons. Both of those are RTA categories. Fresh file we just talked about a little bit. All weapons is essentially just like the run I'm going to do today, but I would also use the other 3 weapons. But there's also some interesting like category extension type stuff. I know some people have been working on loyalty card %, which I'm not going to go into the spoilery on exactly what that is, but it's a pretty quick one. It's pretty cool. And some people are even working on fresh file to credits, which is a long run and would require a lot of skill.
That seems like a pretty brutal but very exciting one for sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching some of those as well myself. Well, Vorime, we're pretty much out of time here, but I did want to give you a chance to mention there might be a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a bonus thing happening. Even though people were so generous and made this Hades run happen as a bonus game, we got maybe an extra little incentive for all of you. You want to maybe tease a little bit or anything like that?
Yeah, I guess first I want to say thank you guys so much for meeting the incentive. It was incredible. When I first saw that number, I didn't know what to think, and you guys knocked it out of the park. It was done so early. So thank you guys. As for that extra incentive,
should we leave them with just to stay tuned? You're going to have to watch to find out.
Yeah, let's go with that.
But I guarantee fan favorite. All right. You'll love it. All right. Well, Vorime, we're unfortunately out of time. I would love to dig deep into Hades with you all day, just talking about various boon builds and aspects and stuff like that, and the nitty gritty of like what heat you're picking and stuff like that. But I'll leave a lot of that to you in the commentary during the run. Good luck on your run. I hope that you have a great time, and I know it'll be a fun showcase.
Thank you so much, Jhobz, and I'll see you guys in a little while after this Cuphead run, which I'm sure is going to be awesome.
Oh, doing the sign off for me. I love it. Vorime, you're great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give it back to our host so they can get us ready for Cuphead by Jason2890 to continue this fantastic indie block. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, Jhobz. You know, that's the secret of a good interview. You always leave them wanting more. I, for one, am very much looking forward to that Hades run, as I hope all of you are. We have so many donations coming in, I can't even see to the bottom of them. We've got $2,000 from Rob, who says, here's a $2,000 donation. Let's hope that the powers that be will be generous enough to match it to get us all through this pandemic. Good luck to the runners, and everyone, please stay safe. We've got $100 from Three Dog, who says, have to donate for some of my favorite games of all time.